everyone. In this lecture, we're going to go over an example of a paired sample t-test. So we kind of went over an example last time, but I want to emphasize something that I didn't mention in the last lecture. It's really important when you conduct a t-test that your null hypothesis is that the average or mu0 is 0, meaning that the differences should be the same. That should be your null hypothesis. But anyways, let's go over a specific example together one more time so we get a good concrete understanding of the paired sample t-test. So again, we're going to have an L1 and an L2. And let's say we're going to do the same exact scenario. We give a math test beforehand, then we do a lecture. We give a math test at the end, and these are the results of the math tests. Before it was like 35, 90, 45, 55, and 60. And then after we have a sample of 65, 85, 65, 45, and 70. Now it looks like L2, or the after sample, did a little bit better. A little bit. But did they do good enough to say, yes, this lecture clearly had an influence? Well, to do that, we have to first figure out L3. L3, again, is the final minus the initial. In this case, it's 30. Here it's -5. Here it's 20. Here it's -10. And here it's 10. And we want to know, are these numbers statistically significant from the number 0? Because again, the null hypothesis is that the average of the first is the same as the average of the second. And so in this case, that means that the average of the second minus the average of the first should be 0. That's the null hypothesis. And so these averages should be, the average of this should be close to 0. And to figure that out, we have to do a t-test. So I'm going to quickly edit my L3 as 30, -5, 20, -10, and 10. Make sure I get it right. Here we go. And then I'm going to do a t-test. In this case, my mu0 has to be 0 because that's the null hypothesis, is that the average is 0. The average of the differences should be 0. And then list should be, in this case, L3. And to do that, again, you would hit second stat, and you would scroll down to L3 to put it there. And then you hit calculate, and I get P equals, I'll highlight this, P equals 0.2954. That's really the only value I ever care about if I ever do a t-test, or a z-test, or a proportion test. Pretty much every test. Now, typically we would use an alpha value of 0.05. And so is P less than 0.05? No, meaning that the lecture clearly, we can't say that there was something that influenced a difference in the pre-test to the post-test. We would see this kind of variance 29% of the time, at least, this sort of slight difference in the two samples. So we can't really say that there's a clear distinction between the two groups. Anyways, that's this example. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video.